Welcome to Flash Tutorial 21, Total and Current Frames. Going to start a new FLA, keeping ActionScript 3, and calling this buttons, B-U-T-T-O-N-S, and I'm going to put a couple buttons on here. Having a stroke here of black, that's the outside of my rectangles. This is the inside, called a fill. I'm going to use the rectangle tool. If you see a circle, click this corner and you'll get a drop down menu and pick rectangle. And I'm just going to make a little, hold my shift down, make a little square. First of all, pick up my selection tool, grab that corner, move it in, grab this corner, move it down. And I have a little arrow. Going to highlight it, get those crosshairs, right click, come down here, convert it to a symbol, make sure a button is selected in this drop down menu, and call it BUTTON_BTN. That's what I call this button. OK. Open the properties panel, and we got to give it an instance name. So there's the button, it's an instance of. So I'm going to call this one previous, P-R-E-V, capital P, _BTN. It's good. Going to open the library here. Grab this button symbol, drag it up. Open the properties panel. It's the same button. Going to give it an instance name, next, N-E-X-T, _BTN. You can see, use the same symbol over and over as long as you give it a different instance name. While it's highlighted, come up here to modify, transform, and flip it horizontally. So I have a previous button and a forward button. And I'm just going to take this one and move it down a little bit here. And I see that little line puts me in line. Lock that layer, insert a layer, call this frame, F-R-M, and capital N-U-M as in frame numbers. Select this first frame. Text tool right here. Open the properties panel. Make sure it's static text and classic text. I'm using Times New Roman, bold. I want to use black for my color for my numbers. And let's make this very big. Let's make this like 60 something. This word embed, click that. Open this menu, click upper, lower, numerals, and punctuations. OK. And close that off. And right here, put a big number 1. There it is. Come here. Right click, insert a keyframe. Double click on this, change this to a 2. Come here. Insert a keyframe, double click, change it to a 3, and here insert a keyframe and change it to a 4. So we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Lock that layer, click here, insert another layer, call this AS as an ActionScript, select frame 1 and open the actions panel and stop, S-T-O-P, open close brackets, semicolon. We're going to write some code for the next button. That was called next, so put a couple enters and type this code. Next _BTN, that's the next button here, this one. Period, add event listener, small a, capital E, capital L, that turns blue. Open bracket, mouse event, capital M, capital E, that turns blue. Period. Click is all capital letters, all uppercase, C-L-I-C-K. Then there's a comma, and we're giving this function a name called next frame, capital N, capital F, open bracket, semicolon. Function, F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N, turns purple. Copy next frame, paste it in, that's the function name. Open bracket, event, E-V-E-N-T, small e, turns blue. Colon. Copy this mouse event, paste it in. close bracket, colon, void. Void is the same color as function. There's an open curly bracket, and as you start to type something in here, you'll get the close curly bracket. And what we're going to do is right here, between these two brackets, is say, type, next frame. Small n, capital F, turns blue, open close bracket, semicolon. So if we just tested that right quick, and here, hit here, go to the next frame, but I got to bring my buttons up so I can do it again. My buttons aren't brought up. That's easy. Click here, see on this buttons line, click here, insert keyframe, and that brings those buttons up. Go back to the action frame 1. Let's copy all this. Copy it. Click here, put a few mini enters, and paste it in. This was the previous button, PREV. And instead of going to the next frame, we're going to go to the previous frame, PREV, small p. So now we should be able to go back and forwards through those frames. So test movie, test. I have an error here. Duplicate depth, I know exactly what it is. Back at the actions panel. Because up here we called this function next frame and we copied and pasted, we have to change the name of this function to prev. PREV here and PREV. Now this should work. Test movie, test. And I can go 2, 3, 4, but it doesn't go any further, and we're going to fix that. And down here I can go down here and go up and down, so now I got to be able to loop around. So let's work on that next button first. If I go up here where it says next button, put a few clicks, click, 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 and type in this code. Type, 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 type. It says if, open bracket, current frame, that's the frame we're on at the time, small c, capital F, that turns blue, equals, that's a test, I'm testing. Is the current frame equal to, two equal signs, total frames? In our case, total frames would be the fourth frame. So small t, capital F, that turns blue, close bracket. Here's the open curly bracket for this if. There's the open curly bracket for this if. We're going to say go to and stop, small g, small t, capital A, capital S, that turns blue, open bracket 1, close bracket, semicolon. There's the close curly bracket for this if right here. And we're going to say else, E-L-S-E, then an open curly bracket here. There's the next frame line we already had. And down here we need another close curly bracket. And if we hit this and there's no errors, we have the right number of curly brackets. So we give a little look at that. Open curly bracket here, close curly bracket here, an open and close for this if, and an open and close for this else. Okay, let's go on the other end here, down here in this button. Click right here after this open curly bracket and type this code. Now this is when we're going backwards. If, open bracket, current frame, small c, capital F, turns blue, equals 1, close bracket. So that means if we're going back and we're on number 1, we want to be able to loop around. So if it's equals 1, here's the open curly bracket for the if. You'll start to type this. You'll get this closed curly bracket. Go to and stop. Small g, small t, capital A, capital S, turns blue. Open bracket, total frames. Small t, capital F, turns blue. Close bracket, semicolon. and a closed curly bracket. Then the else, the ELSE, turns purple. There's the open curly bracket for the else, and I need to put in another closed curly bracket. And now I can format it. So this works sort of the opposite. As you're going down, as long as you're going down from 4, 3, 2, 1, like that, as long as we're not on number 1, it says go down to the previous frame. Go down to the previous frame. But when you get down to frame 1, you can't go to the previous frame, so it says go to the total frames, which in our case is frame 4. And the good part about this format is I can add as many frames as I want, and I don't need to change the action script. It's all taken care of. So let's test this out. Hopefully there's no errors. Nope. So I can go back 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop at 1, 2, go backwards. Now, one of the most common uses for this is instead of having these numbers in here, put pictures in. So let's go up to the file. Let's import some images, and let's import them to the library. This takes a while to prepare to import. And I want to go on my desktop where my pictures are on my bits. And I have these 4 pictures. So I'm holding my shift down. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put them pictures in my library. Here they are. I'm going to unlock the numbers layer, select frame 1. I'm going to delete that number 1. Open the library panel in and bring a picture in. I'm just going to stick a picture. I'm not going to play around with the size. Select this one, delete that, bring in the next picture. Again, I'm not going to center it or delete it or modify it in any manner. You'll get the idea. Going to bring in the next picture, which is the lighthouse. And finally, this last one. Bring in the last picture, which is the tulips. There. So now, see, the good thing about this format is I can add as many frames as I want, as many pictures as I want, as long as I bring this and insert keyframes so that the buttons work. The action code will always work. There they are. Now, no buttons. Do you know why? Because the buttons has to be on top here. Down here, they're underneath, so you got to be on top of there. Test movie test. There's my buttons. I go to the next picture, or I can go back and loop around. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learn.